Hello, Gemini. This is Adrian Igo, Capricorntigress from Astrology, a look inside. And I'm coming to you with your horoscope, the general horoscope reading for September. It is, let's see. September is an interesting month because September is the month of Virgo, and Virgo is naturally square Gemini. So it's, I can't say it's a great month unless, of course, you have something like Gemini rising, or, you have Virgo rising and you're a Gemini, right? Or something like that. Like if you have Virgo rising and you're a Gemini, I could see how you might benefit from it being Virgo season. But other than that, you might feel a little bit of tension while the sun is in Virgo. And it's going to be in Virgo until the 22nd of September. So you might feel a little some way when it touches your sun in a square aspect. So do be aware of that. Now, also, I wanted to discuss a couple of other things for Geminis for the month. And the first thing I wanted to discuss is that on the 9th, there is going to be a full moon in Virgo. So on top of there being the sun in Virgo and Mercury is in Virgo, now you've got to deal with a new moon in Virgo. And that's going to be squaring you. Now, the thing is, Virgo's down in the 4th house for you, in your solar 4th house. And so I'm thinking the emphasis is on your family, on your home, on your, anything that has to do with your home life, your family life, caring and nurturing for people, emotions, any type of things that have to deal with the emotions. And of course, the new moon in and of itself always means new beginnings. Now this bears well if you've been like in the market for a new home. I could see you getting a new home around the 1st, or around the 9th or 10th or somewhere around there. That would be awesome for someone who has this set up. But yeah, just a new commitment to family, a new commitment to your home life and to your emotional life, I think. I could see where it might have to deal with parents, if your mother or father are, still with us. I could see you dealing with issues with your mother or your father that day. Now, here's the amazing thing, though, about what's going on is that, we have Neptune in Pisces right now. It's like around, I think, 18 degrees of Pisces at the moment. But you've got Geminis have Neptune sitting up in their solar 10th house. And so when this new moon occurs in Virgo, it's going to set up this weird axis between the 4th house and the 10th house. So I wonder how much of this is going to be how your family affects your career, or if it has something to do with your career. Because Neptune usually, to me, indicates areas of confusion. I always say that. And because I have Neptune on my midheaven by birth, and I'm always confused. And so that is one of those things that I feel like when Neptune is really high like that, sitting up at the top of the chart this way, that it indicates some confusion of some kind, some confusion. Something is not quite the way it should be with your career right now. Now, if you're creative type, like a singer, an actor, a dancer, a poet, a musician of some type, man, oh man, how creative is this? I mean, Neptune sitting up in the 10th house of the career. You got Jupiter, by the way. Jupiter has been sitting in your 6th house all year. Well, yeah, pretty much since November, because Jupiter is in Scorpio, and that's in the solar sixth house for Gemini. So I could see, if you were a creative type, how this could be really beneficial to you. Now, I'm just thinking, whenever the new moon is happening down in the fourth house like that, to me, it just indicates some type of recommitment or something good happening with the home, being able to do something new, maybe redecorating or moving into a new place or something good. I think it's a positive experience, hopefully, with your home. Now, there's going to be some emphasis, though, in the fifth house this month for you in the area of children, that's the fifth house. And this is because on the 21st, Mercury goes into Libra, and then on the 22nd, the Sun enters Libra at 9:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there's going to be a little bit of emphasis on Libra after the 21st of the month. It officially becomes Libra time, and once it becomes Libra time, that's really going to start to flow with some of you Geminis, and because Libra trines Gemini, and so that is a really positive aspect to you Geminis out there. Now, here's something else that's going to happen on the 24th. There's going to be a full moon in Aries, and it's happening at only 2 degrees of Aries, but any Gemini that's born in the early degrees of Gemini, you'll experience that. That's going to be a natural sextile to Gemini, and it's a full moon. But here's the thing. Most of the good things happen when the moon is waxing. So I would suggest that all people do the right thing and get all of the most important things accomplished between the 9th of the month and that full moon on the 24th of the month. Because once the moon goes full in Aries, beyond the 24th, the moon will start waning again. So I wouldn't go forward with any major contracts or deals or anything like that, because it's just waning, which means it's detracting from things and not adding to them. So, be aware of that, okay? Throughout the month, Pluto and Saturn are sitting in your 8th house. They're in the sign of Capricorn, and Saturn actually stations direct on the 6th of September. And so you should start feeling, hopefully, wealth coming toward you. Like if there's been any stall in you getting payment from someone, maybe you can start, these payments or whatever might start coming in. You might start having money that you didn't know was out there that someone, owed you, suddenly show up. Pluto in the 8th house and Saturn in the 8th house anyway, it just means that area is going to have some emphasis, and that usually rules things like, your partner's money, or sudden money coming in from outside sources, not money that you brought in, but money from some outside source, like an annuity or an inheritance or something like that. It also indicates psychology, and I would say if you're a Gemini and you've been going through any type of psychological issues, this would be a great time to really look at getting some help with that. And that there's no problem or shame with that. But wherever Saturn is, it just shows where we need to work and what we need to work on. And in your case, it's the 8th house. And so how you manifest that 8th house, the 8th house is a house of secrets, hidden secrets as well. And so there may be some deep hidden things going on attached to money, and wealth and power, because the 8th house also rules power. And with Pluto being at home in its own 8th house, this is an area of extreme power issues, especially with it being in Capricorn. And on top of that, with You know, I mentioned earlier with Pisces having Neptune sitting up in your 10th house. Yeah, definitely I would take a really good close look at that, and just, if you need help, get help. It's okay if you need it. Now, the good thing is that Mars, which had retrograded back into Capricorn, Mars is stations direct on the 27th of August. So it's actually in Capricorn, but it's going to be getting back into Aquarius on the 10th of September. And so Mars enters Aquarius at 8:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. When it does go back into Aquarius, it's going to make a nice, little sextile to you Geminis who are born in those early degrees. Once again, as I mentioned earlier, that actually, whoever is born in a very early degrees of Gemini, when that full moon is in Aries on the 24th, there should be a natural sextile going on there, and that would just actually do very well with Geminis. I think that day. I think that would be a good day. And that's going to be the 24th. And beyond that day, though, like I said, it starts to wane after the full moon, so don't expect much after that. So this is pretty much your month. I'm trying to see what else is going on in the month. We've got Venus enters Scorpio on the 9th, and that's going to be going into your 6th house. So when Venus goes into your 6th house, that's going to be a lot more beneficial to your work life. So again, some emphasis on your work, and it's Venus. So now here's my thing. When I'm thinking about Neptune sitting up in the 10th house in Pisces and Venus in the 6th house, I'm thinking party, 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 party all the time. Party. I don't know what kind of job you have, but yeah, that's amazing. Venus and Jupiter in the 6th house and Neptune up on the 10th. So yeah, we also will have Virgo going into that new moon, or that new moon going into Virgo at 17 degrees on the 9th, which I mentioned. That happens at 2:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mars in Aquarius on the 10th. There is a Jupiter sextile Pluto occurrence, and I kind of talked about that a little bit, but that Jupiter, oh no, this is another sextile. That Jupiter, which is down in Scorpio at 18 degrees, is going to be sextiling Pluto, which is also at 18 degrees and 51 seconds in Capricorn. So that's going to be the 6th house and 8th house. Again, more emphasis on the work and money, or work and, wealth or power coming in from other sources. So that's not bad. Now on the 20th, Saturn will quintile Neptune at 2 degrees and 43 seconds. And that's going to be Saturn quintile that Pisces Neptune. And I kind of talked about that a second ago. When Saturn is in the 8th house and Neptune is up in that 10th house, there's something going on there that's so I'm hoping that you're looking at improving or just really taking a good look at that 8th house right now. I think your career, your reputation, your image, the power that you have from internally, that's your 8th house. There's hidden things, the psychological motivations that are within you. That's your 8th house. So these are things that are really coming to the fore. I mentioned that Mercury goes into Libra on the 21st. The Sun goes into Libra on the 22nd. There's the full moon on the 24th. We discussed that. Chiron retrogrades in Pisces at 8:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 25th of September. And Chiron, when it does that in Aries, it's going to be in your 11th house. So, I'm wondering how that's going to really play out, because the 11th house usually means like friends, associations, groups, organizations, just, things and people that you participate in and do things with, acquaintances that So I'm wondering how that's going to play out. Also, your hopes, dreams, and wishes is there. So you may feel like you can't get the things done that you really wish you could get done. you know, wherever Chiron is, that's where a pain is, or something that makes you feel like it's something where you struggle a little. And so when it goes into, it's in that 11th house there, in Pisces, you're going to feel, you'll feel that. Well, actually, it's in Pisces, so it's going to be more in your 10th house than your 11th house. That means you're going to be feeling it in your career. We're back in the career again. I thought it was Aries. It's Pisces. Chiron is retrograding, enters Pisces. So it's in your 10th house again. More emphasis on that 10th house. Now, I'm wondering with that Neptune up in Pisces like that, and now I'm seeing a Chiron is going up into Pisces like that. And we mentioned that quintile up there. I'm just wondering if you're just having some illusions or deluded about your career or your focus. You're not, I'm just sensing that you might not feel like you've got a focus on where you want to go with your career right now. And that could be causing you some stress. Yeah, I think that will have something to do with it. On the 30th, Pluto does go direct, and I think that's going to help a little bit, because Pluto is in your solar 8th house, as I mentioned earlier, and that's at 18 degrees and 45 seconds of Capricorn. And when that goes direct in your 8th house, at least that's going to be a positive thing, because the 8th house is the natural ruler, or Pluto naturally rules the 8th house. So the fact that it's transiting its own home, it doesn't want to go retrograde or backwards in its own house. It's not been happy, okay, since it's been retrograde, but it is going to be going forward again. It goes direct on the 30th of September, and I would think whatever those emotional issues, those deep hidden things that I've been sensing in this reading, are going to really start to dissipate at that point. And I also believe, because it's Libra time at that point, it's going to be a much more positive vibe for Geminis than when it was in Virgo. And I think it's going to start picking up a little bit for you. Now, one of the things I really didn't mention, and this is getting a little long, was that Venus enters the pre-retrograde shadow. That was on the 2nd of September. And on October 5th, Venus actually goes retrograde in Scorpio, and it'll happen at 3:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you know, that is when it goes retrograde. That's technically going to be in your solar 6th house, so more emphasis on that work again. That's their work house. I wonder what's going on with your work and career. Well, this has been Capricorntigress, Adrian Igo of Astrology, A Look Inside. I am going to really think hard about this. I might add a little bit more to this, or maybe we'll talk about this more when I do the reading for October. But yeah, work and resources and career. Okay. Have a great September, Geminis. Much love and much light to you all. Bye now.